Hello, Pioneer Nation, and welcome into Pioneer Weekly Recap and Preview Show. I am Brian State. We're going to spend an inordinate amount of time talking about basketball because we want to congratulate them. Yes, we do have the two coaches shows that will be up as well. You can go get in-depth information about the Pioneer basketball run in the Pilot Flying J South Atlantic Conference Championships. We're going to start on the women's side because they are your 2020 tournament champions. And doing so with a lot of question mark going into the tournament to begin with. On the road at Wingate University to end the regular season, put up just 47 points, attempting 44 three-pointers, outshooting the Wingate Bulldogs in that contest, but not getting the victory, and then getting into the tournament and getting Wingate in the first round, putting up 82 points, winning 82-40, then getting the big showdown in the semifinal against Carson Newman, rallying from a double-digit deficit in that contest once again, and getting the victory by outscoring them big time in the second half, getting 81 points in that contest, winning it 81-73, and knocking off the Carson Newman Eagles for a third consecutive time to get to the championship setting, taking on the Anderson Trojans, whom they haven't beaten all season long, setting basketball back probably 3 decades by only scoring 13 points in the first half, but limiting Anderson to 21. It was a phenomenal defensive effort for the Pioneers as they punched their ticket, I have to say it at least once, to the NCAA tournament by getting a come-from-behind victory, trailing by 10, getting a 61-49 win in the tournament championship. For the Pioneers, it's their third tournament championship as a program. It is their first since 2011. The Pioneers are going on to the NCAA tournament, which we'll talk about coming up here in just a few moments, for the 6th time in program history and their first since 2012 when they were led by a point guard named Jasmine Gunn. Led by a point guard, Mia Long. Mia Long and the Pioneers win the women's championship, but some hardware was handed out to the all-tournament team. Congratulations to Casey Johnson. She was named to the all-tournament team for the Pioneers, and Mia Long was named the tournament MVP. So congratulations to Mia. And what she did, she scored. She was able to score, but she limited the best ball handlers on the opposing teams in the semifinal, Braylon Weichel, and in the final, Madison Baggett, held them to just 2 made field goals combined in that semifinal and final. Congratulations to them. Interestingly enough, those 2 women are also our all-conference champion winners as well. Congratulations to Casey Johnson. She earns an honorable mention selection, so congratulations to her for the job that she has done. She established a personal best with 6 three-pointers made in the Anderson game, and then was responsible for shutting down, or at least limiting, Kayla Marisites and limiting Alexi Mollenauer, as those 2 were double-double magnets. They were limited to non-double-doubles, ending long streaks in that. And all-conference first-team selection going to Mia Long. All she did was score. She was one of the leaders for this team in scoring, and she was the top thief in the South Atlantic Conference as well, leading the conference in steals at 3.54 per contest, surpassing a long record that had stood for 30 years, 1991, 1992. She has the most steals in a season, now sitting at 111. Congratulations to her. And our statistical champions for the Pioneers this year, and some of the things that they were able to do, team steals at 352. And again, when you factor in the defensive job that Coach Devin Carter does, congratulations to the Pioneers. Number 1, they were the 3 seed coming into this tournament, and they were the statistical champions in steals. That means the Pioneers punching that ticket. They're still dancing. They get the automatic bid. They'll be at the Southeast Regional, which will be hosted by Greenwood, South Carolina, Lander University. They have a wonderful facility. We'll put up the bracket here. The upper bracket are the later games. The lower bracket are the first games. The Pioneers will play at 7:30 scheduled start time on Friday of this week. Tusculum, winners of 24, take on Belmont Abbey, winners of 27 this year. Those 2 teams met in the first game of the year. Devin Carter said they set basketball back sometime. Well, you could say that about the championship game as well. That was just played this last weekend. So the Pioneers and Belmont Abbey renew the rivalry, you could say, because these 2 teams have played a lot here over the last 3 years. They'll play at 7:30. We'll have that for you on the Pioneer Sports Network radio coverage. Lander and Limestone will square off in the 1-8 matchup. That'll be a 5 o'clock start. In the lower bracket, unfortunately, 2 conference teams have to play each other, and I really wish they had made it would have been unfair for Carson Newman to be the 7th seed, but maybe they should have made them the 7th seed, even though Carson Newman and North Georgia have played already this year. Either way, it would have been better had that just not been a conference showdown. It's Anderson and Carson Newman. They actually start the regional high noon in Greenwood, South Carolina on Friday. That'll be followed by North Georgia and Clayton State at a 2:30 start in the 2-7 matchup. The semifinals will be played on Saturday. They would take a day off on Sunday, and the championship would be on Monday should the Pioneers continue to progress. But congratulations, we're dancing, and that begins this weekend. On the men's side of things, congratulations to the Tusculum men's basketball team. They advanced to the conference championships. They get to host for the second consecutive year. They were the number 4 seed. They got Anderson. They knocked off the Trojans in the first game, hitting 9 of 14 three-pointers, winning at 86-65. So many things they did well in that basketball game, knocking down shots, getting burst outs in transition, getting some high percentage shots, some electric shots, I guess you could say, the dunks. Trenton Gibson gets going. He finishes with 19 points, and the Pioneers get the victory, their first tournament championship win in some time. They go back to 2011, the last time they were in a semifinal setting, and for the first time since 2011, the Pioneers were into the semifinals. The first time ever they had visited Furman University and got to Timmons Arena. However, they would face a very familiar opponent in the semifinal. Last time they were in the semis, they were ousted by the Lincoln Memorial University Rail Splitters. They have played LMU in the last, 3 of the last 4 years, or at least 4 of the last 6, in the first round as the 1 versus 8, and they were annihilated. Weren't necessarily annihilated, but they limited the LMU Rail Splitters to a season low in points scored in a game. It's just the fact that the Pioneers were unable to score as well, as they were ousted 67-46. So the men were out from the semifinal round. LMU would go on to win the tournament championship. They would knock off Queens. They get the automatic bid. LMU will be hosting the Southeast Regional, which gets underway this Saturday. Queens moving from 3 to number 2, and Catawba is also in to the regional. They are the number 6 seed. So 3 teams out of the South Atlantic Conference in the men's regional. But congratulations to our all-conference selections to the Tusculum men. And we'll begin with the all-freshman team. Josh Scott will earn an all-freshman nod for the second consecutive year. The Pioneers have a member of our freshman team on that all-freshman team. Last year, Trenton Gibson was the freshman of the year. Our honorable mention all-conference going to last year's freshman of the year, Trenton Gibson. So congratulations to Trenton for that honorable mention nod, and a guy that just does just a little bit of everything. Started the year with the triple-double, and he really continued through with the fine and successful season, again, all the way into the semifinals. And Trenton Gibson was also honored as our Elite 20 winner this weekend, meaning he is the smartest of the guys who play some of the most minutes in the league with a GPA of 3.9. He was the Elite 20 winner in the South Atlantic Conference, receiving that award from Commissioner Patrick Britz this weekend in Greenville, South Carolina at Furman University. And the Pioneers statistical champions, we've talked about that a lot this year. Number 1 in team steals, 268. One of the top thieves for this team was Tariq Jenkins and Dylan Smith, along with Trenton Gibson. And then in rebounding, we talked about offensive rebounds, how they had led the country in offensive rebounds, but total team rebounds, the Pioneers were statistical champions this year. So shout out to Pioneer coach J.T. Burton and his staff, Zach Cole, Justin Chartram, Brooks Harrison, and company, for the strength and conditioning coach Christian Sisto for what they were able to do in rebounding and steals. That says a lot for what that team was able to accomplish. Ending the year with 19 wins, a +3 improvement from a season ago in J.T. Burton's second season. For the Tusculum Pioneers, it was a huge weekend. The Pioneer baseball team gets a sweep against Coker, the women's bowling team, knocking off another nationally ranked opponent this past weekend in the Music City. And the lacrosse teams had 2 thrillers against Newberry. To find out more about that, you can visit TusculumPioneers.com and get more stories about the rest of your spring sports teams. Beach volleyball on the road, along with men's volleyball as well. But we want to say a huge congratulations to somebody who continues to pick up hardware and more hardware. Tusculum University distance runner Nicole McMillan, honored by the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Association as the Southeast Region Women's Track Athlete of the Year. The graduate from Ontario, Canada, was the top regional performing runner in 4 running events for the Pioneers during the indoor season this year. She set school and conference records with the mile, 3,000 meters, and 5,000 meters, and part of the school record performance of the 4x400 meter relay. She recorded the top times in the South region in the mile this year, in the 3,000 meters this year, and she will compete in both the 3,000 meters and the 5,000 meters in the NCAA Division II Indoor Track and Field Championships, which will be this Saturday, March 13th, and also Sunday the 14th in Birmingham, Alabama. Congratulations to Nicole McMillan, becoming the second Pioneer to earn Region Athlete of the Year honors along with Richard Gervais, who was able to do that last season for the Pioneers on the outdoor side of things as well. Always a great honor to see somebody up there with a Regional Athlete of the Year honor with their name up there. Congratulations, Nicole McMillan. We've got a lot of basketball to talk about, so don't forget to join us this weekend for the women's run into the NCAA tournament. See if they can't get back to the Elite Eight. It would be the first appearance in the Elite Eight since 2010. When the Pioneers were able to punch their ticket and win the Southeast Regional. That year they did it at Francis Marion University. So we're back in South Carolina. We've just won a tournament championship in South Carolina, now just down the road with another word green in it, Greenwood, South Carolina. I don't know, maybe there's something to that. I'm not sure. When we recap next week, hopefully we're hoisting another trophy. We got some nets hanging around our necks as well. You can always keep up to date with the latest information at Tusculum University by visiting online through TusculumPioneers.com. For all those behind the scenes on the Pioneer Sports Network, I'm Brian Staten. And until next week, go Pioneers.